Clerk Paul, can we call the council meeting in order, please?
Lennon,
Here.
Floywood,
Here.
Leisha,
Here.
Fate,
Here.
Pabon,
Here.
Ruiz. Here. Aranella,
Here.
Carmichael.
Here.
8 present, Mayor.
Can we all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and please remain standing for a moment of silence?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please keep in our thoughts and prayers the family of Timothy Guerrero, the son of our building inspector Lillian Carmona, recently was killed in a car accident, as well as the family of Thomas Zizzo, who's the grandfather of our booking officer Victor Marini, who also passed away, as well as all the men and women we have on the street tonight. Thank you. At this time, I would ask for a motion to go into executive session pursuant to Illinois State Statutes 5 ILCS 120-2, Section C1.
So moved.
Motion by Lennon, seconded by Ruiz to go in executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We'll be back in a few minutes, folks. We're going to go in the other chambers.
Copies.
Marge, does you require another roll call?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay. I'll call the roll again. Lennon,
Here.
Roywood,
Here.
Leisha,
Here.
Bate,
Here.
Pabon,
Here.
Ruiz,
Here.
Aranella,
Here.
Carmichael.
Here.
Okay, before I start the open forum, let me just state that I became aware of all the publicity regarding this from CBS, ABC, all the news reports that were aired from the 19th through the 22nd. I became aware of it on April 24th when I returned from Canada. I was out of July, I'm sorry. I was out of the country and obviously had no internet or mobile service. You could find that funny all you want, but that's the truth. So at this time, I cannot provide any comment regarding the situation because of the city's collective bargaining agreement. I've let my thoughts be known to the city council and let them know our next step, and that's what we'll be proceeding along to. Thank you. I will, and I have, listened to all the emails that I received during that time, caught up with them all. I will listen tonight also to what everybody has to say, and I know what pretty much everybody has to say. Excuse me, sir, if you want to keep on interrupting, you can leave right now. This is me speaking in a public forum. If you have respect for me, I will have respect for you. Okay. Okay. You come to Canada with me next time and see if we have it. On an island. On an island, yeah. Okay. So I'm going to listen with great attention to the feedback and comments that you guys are going to share tonight. All I would ask is that you be respectful of your neighbor and let them speak, and keep your comments short and succinct, because we have a lot of people that I'm sure want to speak tonight. So with that, whoever wants to address the open forum, step forward to the podium and state your name and address.
I'm Greg Patterson. I think the protocol is, I live in Ward 1, right?
Sir, I'm sorry, I was distracted. Could you repeat your name?
Greg Patterson.
Thank you, Mr. Patterson.
Yeah. So, I'm here to talk about the egregious racism in Berwyn and what should be done, honestly, about it. What we know is a city employee used the N-word to describe a black man. Then the city employee slandered all black people. And we know that by their inaction, city leaders are endorsing, no, welcoming her views. My view as a black homeowner in Berwyn is that if this is where you city leaders are at, then I don't want to be here. If you don't want black people in your town, we don't want to be here. What do you think? We're supposed to come here and beg you all to treat us decently? Is that what you want? We think you should be honest about that. First, offering all of us the fair market value of our homes so that we can leave this town and you may go forward with your plans for a non-black town. Just be honest about it. If that's what you want, you can do that. Media's here. Realtors are here. Do that. Let's make a deal. We just had racial hatred shatter the lives of nearly a dozen people, and more broadly, an entire community on the 4th of July. Racial hatred did that. The same racial hatred that your silence and inaction endorses today.
Yes, sir. Yep. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hannah Arendt called it the banality of evil. She was a Jewish philosopher journalist who wrote an important book called Eichmann in Jerusalem. The banality of evil, it's not some highfalutin, deep moral concept. It's the simple, common acts of hatred and bias that happen and pile up between people every day. And sooner or later, you have a Holocaust. When the judges sentenced Eichmann to death, they said this: And just as you supported and carried out a policy of not wanting to share the earth with the Jewish people and the people of a number of other nations, as though you and your superiors had any right to determine who should and should not inhabit the world, we find that no one, that is, no member of this human race, can be expected to want to share the earth with you. And this is the reason that you must hang. Your city employee doesn't get to determine who she shares this town with, who she shares this earth with. You don't determine who you get to share this town with. That determination has been made already. It's been made in 3 words, in documents written over 250 years. It begins, "We the people." So there's no decision for you to make. You either decide to live out the true creed of this nation, or you carry forth the banality of evil. And if you do that, like I said, I want my money back.
My name is Gerardo Nava. I work with the Zuma Collective, and I'm a former resident of the First Ward. Used to live off of Winslow and Clinton. I had a prepared speech to make at the press conference when Mr. Philip Robin was standing outside this very space. And of course, wanting to respect your wishes and making my speech short and sweet, let me make this very short and sweet for you. 3 words to keep in mind and consider, and hopefully you might maybe change your mind on this when you have the power to make this decision or not. Fire Sarah Lopez. You've spent plenty of time during the election season advocating for yourself, advocating to the voters that you were a person that genuinely wanted to have an open, welcoming community in Berwyn. And given the fact that this incident took place during the election, rather than taking that time to just address the issue head on, you chose to not only hide it, you chose to ignore it. And when the man himself tried to confront and tried to get a report, to try to get something out and see some form of response to deal with Ms. Lopez, you fought against that.
Yes, sir. You need internet for that.
And you don't need internet for that. And here's the thing. You've had plenty of time since this story broke out to make a genuine statement at any point, and you haven't done that. This isn't rocket science. This isn't me asking you or begging you or me confronting you viciously to try to get you to change your mind. This is really simple. Fire Sarah Lopez. Short and sweet. It's not rocket science. Because you taking the time to really protect this person as if nothing ever happened, you're being complacent to her attitude, to her racist attitude. That type of language, that type of individual should not be protected, especially in the community that you claim that's open and welcoming. Of course, maybe you should have put the memo on there that said open to racists as well, if you were going to do that as well. I would also hope that you genuinely consider you yourself willing to accept an open investigation on yourself for even taking the time to even try to hide. I don't speak for myself as someone that doesn't necessarily live in Berwyn at the moment right now. Although it would pain me really bad, and given the fact that you've had one resident so far really just feel unwelcomed by this whole outrageous action, I would hope that you genuinely make the right decision. Fire Sarah Lopez, be willing to accept an investigation upon yourself on corruption for even trying to hide this case, or at the very least, if you're not willing to do either one of those two things, Mr. Lavero, I ask that you resign. Take some responsibility. Show Berwyn the kind of leader you can be by making the right decision, doing the right actions. Otherwise, get out of Berwyn. And if nothing else, that's all I got to say.
Good evening, Esteban Rodriguez. I am a member of Rizoma Collective, just like Gerardo Nava. I'm currently a resident of the 7th Ward in Berwyn. I just think the obvious is here, right? We've all talked about how you were in vacation. I teach trauma-informed, and I come from that perspective. I want to give you the positive intent just this one time. There was 2 months, though, prior to the vacation in Canada, right? That you could have been transparent with the rest of the council. It wasn't until, I want to say maybe a week ago, that it was known publicly. At this point, there was one alderman who stepped up, wrote a statement, and became very vocal about that. I don't want to say, I feel like the rest of my people here are going to talk about the mayor. I want to talk about the city council and their inadequacies and actually speaking up as well, right? You weren't all on vacation. You weren't anywhere. You were here. Some are on vacation, and this is your only job at this moment, right? There's many aldermen to my right and on my left side who hasn't said a single word publicly. You may have done it personally, individually, one person at a time in a direct message. That's not enough. We need you all to speak up as well. We clearly know that the mayor cannot do that, right? There is 4, 8, 12 elected officials. I'm looking in front of them. 2 of them spoke publicly about it. In the 7th Ward, I'm barely been there for a year and a half, and I love it. I have neighbors here with me too. Alderman Mary Beth, I would like for you also to speak up towards this. We've had great conversations in the past. I need public voice from you, right? You're representing me, and you're representing my neighbors who are very upset right now because we have racist preventers, racist individuals who are allowing people and are promoting this type of language, right? She sat in the board of 100 where thousands of our students are attending. We're talking about the entire south area of Berwyn. And she's been there for a while, 2 terms at least. This is the language that has happened over and over. And we can document it, and we have receipts on other people that I'm looking in front of me right now that are also sharing the same sentiments as Ms. Sarah Lopez did, right? I need you all to speak up. What were you all in the past 2 weeks, in the past 2 months? You might have known about this as well. I'm going to give you positive intent that you didn't know as well. But it's been 2 weeks. Nobody has said anything publicly. You all have black residents in your wards. Protect them. Take care of them. As a Berwyn resident, I want to tell my black neighbors, I'm with you. I want you to stay here. Let's build our market value higher. Let's not sell. Let's kick the racist people out instead. Thank you.
My name is Melissa Morrison, and I live at 15th and Clarence, 8th Ward. I teach at the College of DuPage. I'm reading a statement on behalf of my COD colleague, Robert Moorhead, who lives at 35th and Winona, 1st Ward. Robert can't be here tonight, so I'll read it in the first person as he wrote it. I last addressed City Council back in March when I implored you to pass the Racial Reconciliation Proclamation. Not only did you not pass the proclamation, you didn't even bring it up for a vote. Then, 2 months later, while on the job, a city employee screamed a racial slur at a contractor. If I may put on my professional hat for a second, this issue is something I have dedicated my career to studying. I have a PhD in sociology from UC Davis, and I'm a professor at College of DuPage. We need to understand the incident which Ms. Lopez is a part of as a larger structure. Research has clearly documented that in cases like these, the offender, often labeled a Karen, is acting with the expectation that the system will back her up. We see this in Ms. Lopez's statement. Ms. Lopez's statement was, "You don't know who you're effing with, I'm calling the police," and her repeating of the racial slur to the police. Similarly, think back to Amy Cooper threatening to call 911 and then actually making the call to tell them a black man was threatening her in a bird sanctuary in Central Park. As Ms. Cooper faked screams and said she was being attacked, she was weaponizing her whiteness. Ms. Lopez also weaponized her whiteness. It's not just that she acted in a racist manner, but that she did so as a white woman who is a city employee during her work hours, with the expectation that the police would show up and defend her racism. All too often, we respond to situations like these by punishing the offender for violating the norm of not explicitly using racist language, and then we move on as if we've solved the problem. This is not an isolated incident of one racist person acting alone. Ms. Lopez needs to face punishment for her behavior at work. But the city administration also needs to address how and why a city employee would feel so emboldened to act in this manner at work. What does this say about her workplace? What, if anything, has the city done over the past 2 months to address this bigger issue? Ms. Lopez said to the police, "I'm so sick and tired of these people." On this we agree. I'm so sick and tired of racist Karens using their privileged positions to weaponize their whiteness, to claim Berwyn as a white space where black people do not belong. This council had an opportunity to start to address these issues back in March, to loudly proclaim Berwyn as a truly welcoming city where we understand that living up to that title requires more than words. It requires actions. You have an opportunity again today to step in and do something more than words of condemnation. To paraphrase Martin Luther King Jr., let's not prefer a negative peace, which is the absence of tension, to a positive peace, which is the presence of justice. You cannot cure a systemic illness by removing one sore from your skin. You also can't turn your head away from your city's history of racism, disavowing the past and claiming we're now a welcoming city, without doing the work of addressing how the racist past informs the racist present. You can cut up your credit cards, but the debt remains and it accrues interest. It's time to start paying down the bill.
Excuse me while I get ready. I did prepare a speech. My name is Uriel Barajas. I grew up in what we call colloquially Berwyn. So I'm not a current resident of the city. But I grew up here. I'm a technology consultant, and I have done work in this and other minority communities across the Chicagoland area with the specific purpose of uplifting and empowering.
Hold on. Could you get a fireman to help that person, please? A paramedic? Okay, I'm sorry, sir. Go on.
Thank you. So, as I was saying, I am a technology consultant, and I have done work in the Chicagoland area with the specific purpose of uplifting, empowering Latino, African American, Asian, and Middle Eastern communities and their businesses. I have worked with nonprofits to create extracurricular STEM-based learning programs for these communities. Now, what's my point? We are here to make statements regarding Sarah Lopez's behavior towards Mr. Philip Robin. Sarah Lopez holds not only a city position as a building inspector, but also held a position in the District 100 school board. Conveniently, she was allowed to resign from the school board position. You guys know what that means? She is going to benefit in one way or another with this save face type of maneuver. In a statement made by the school board themselves, they state that they are trying to foster an anti-racism environment that celebrates diversity. In the police report that the city has, it stated that she openly admits to the racial slurs and saying, "I am tired of these people." She was in a city vehicle on duty, right? Please explain to me and the audience here how it is that she was allowed to resign after such a tirade that is unbecoming of the environment that the school board says exists. Please also explain how is she allowed to work for Berwyn, unless you're telling me that this chamber finds that behavior tolerable? How are we supposed to accept her decisions and respect anything that she does when she makes any decision that she makes on her job to be unbiased towards any families? I'm wording it a little bit too nicely. Her views are blatantly racist. There are people that are held to higher standards without a public title. We want public workers that lead by example. So here, in this room, we are telling the school board and the city, if you want to create an environment where anti-racism and inclusivity are not words that need to be taught, because honestly, equality should be the norm. We demand that Sarah Lopez be fired and not be allowed to hold any public position for her treatment of Mr. Robin and the many that she may have affected during her work for those people that did not dare stand up in any private meeting or a public forum. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Anna Wagner, and I'm a Fourth Ward resident. I want to start out by telling you that I saw an interview one time of a rapist, and they asked him why did he do it, and he said because he could. He knew he could get away with it. This isn't the first time that Sarah Lopez has called the police on a person of color. And there are other people in the city who have said that they have experienced her racist remarks directed at them repeatedly. She did this because she knew that she could. This isn't the only pending litigation for a violation of civil rights committed by an employee that we currently have in the city. A zero tolerance policy for hate speech doesn't mean an undocumented verbal warning. And it does not mean for elected officials to passively call out for her resignation. You're shirking your responsibilities here. Zero tolerance means you do your job and you go against her union and you fire her. The reason why this is so difficult is because you don't know how to do it. You've never done that. The way it works here in a patronage system, you give our unions, and let me start out by saying, I am a civil servant and I am a proud union member of a union. Do not even try to peg me as being anti-union. You give our unions whatever they want and their employees can act however they want. In exchange, they finance your campaigns, they canvass, they door knock, and they vote for you, and they keep you in office. It's wash, rinse, and repeat. Wash, rinse, and repeat. Mayor Libero, we are $400 million in debt. A large portion of that is salaries and pension debt, which are our biggest expenses. When it comes to contract negotiations, the unions represent the workers and the city represents the workers. You need to do your job, and you need to do the hard job of managing the city. No one represents us, and we, the residents, pay. We feel the insult and the harm done to Mr. Robbins. We've all experienced issues with city workers and with elected officials. We feel the shame because this has happened in our name and in our city, and we pay for the civil suits, and we pay her continued employment. This city is $400 million in debt. What is it going to take for you all to start doing your jobs? Your jobs are not to bring the senior a plate from the senior luncheon because they went to Jazzercise. That is not your job. Your job isn't to do all this frivolous stuff. Your job is to pass a balanced budget and to work on the hard issues. You're telling us that flooding is our problem because you haven't put in sewers. We've known about climate change. We've known that the stormwater system isn't effective, but you're telling us it's our fault and we have to pay $15,000 to put in new sewers. Do your job. Mayor Lavero, your career has been bookended by institutional racism. You were the city attorney when the Campbell's house was firebombed, and there was no investigation. And now you end with this. I know you like to have the last word, and you're going to come out with something later if you don't say it tonight, so I will give you my response to your rebuttal. As Hamlet said to the King of Denmark, "Methinks thou doth protest too much."
Hello, my name is Kathy. I live in 3rd Ward. I just want to read a statement. I'm going to try not to rehash what everyone said, but I do echo every single thing that was said. As mayor of Berwyn, I embraced the diversity and helped establish Berwyn as a welcoming community. I think we all understand how he feels, and many of the black community, and not even just the black community, many of the good people of Berwyn. Yeah. We cannot stand for this racist individual, this racist employee. This affects all of us, not just black Berwyn residents. You have Black Lives Matter on the parking lot. You need to, if you cannot terminate her immediately after you do your whatever investigation that you have, you need to cover that. You need to remove this diversity statement off your website because it's a lie. We are not going to be welcome here as an Asian who has lived here over 20 years. 20 years we have lived here, and we have dealt with our own racist, either neighbors, store owners, even in the police department. But you know, I do want to commend one police officer, if I must. The police officer that took that report. Because, you know, I think we should acknowledge that all too often police cover for each other. But I commend this officer. He or she, whoever it is, thank you for getting the word out, telling the story, and letting people know that, hey, this is what happened. And the fact, I just want you to think about something. Sarah J. Lopez had no shame in her game. She had no inhibition or hesitation to tell the police that she called this man a hard-working individual doing his job as permitted by the city of Berwyn, the N-word, not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, and not 5 times. Multiple times, she called him the N-word. And she told the police. Why? Because she thought the police was going to cover. And I'm sure they have in the past, but you know what? Not this time. The police did the right thing. So I ask you, as Sarah Lopez had the audacity and the nerve to tell Mr. Robin, don't turn your back on her, I ask you, Mayor, I ask you, Councilman, I ask you, Alderman, turn your back on this racist employee. Get her off the payroll, because Berwyn deserves better, we are better, and this community is better. Thank you for your time.
Paul Simby, I live in the 3rd Ward. I usually don't do this kind of stuff, but I'm quite disgusted and frustrated by all of this. I've lived here for 7 years. Berwyn has exceeded my expectations until I found out about this. I love the fact that there's equality. I can walk around here. I see the Black Lives Matters. I see, you know, the pride flags. I see equality. It's a great thing to see. I'm from the Twin Cities, where in some cases that does not happen. You know, I've gotten pulled over from profiling when I was little, a teenager, stuff like that. I haven't been pulled over once here in Berwyn. You know, the thing is, you know, maybe I'm lucky, but I actually know Sarah Lopez. I spoke with her just a couple weeks ago at a party for like 5-10 minutes, someone's birthday party. I didn't know about this incident, and I can only guess what was going on in her head as I'm actually talking to her, as she's, you know, sick and tired of these people. The thing that's happening right now is that what I see is, it seems like a facade. If you're gonna come to all these block parties, talk with us, you know, have these signs up, and then turn your back on this situation. You know, and quite frankly, I'm not asking for her to be fired. I'm actually asking for you to do the right thing. Exactly. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kathy Shavel. I live at 35th and Clinton in the 1st Ward. I'm a union member, and I've worked for a public sector union for 20 years, most recently as the director of field operations. So I just want to call to your attention a little bit about progressive discipline in the union setting. A verbal warning is something we use when an employee makes a mistake. There's not a white person on the planet Earth who makes a mistake when they use the N-word. That is an intentional word. You can't make a mistake with that word. She was on duty. That is conduct unbecoming an official of the city of Berwyn. It is not acceptable to give a verbal warning. She should be on leave pending the investigation, which, quite honestly, she's given you all the evidence you need. But do your investigation, because as a union member, it is the right thing to do, and get rid of her. There is no reason to waste your time on people like that. And I'm upset about her, but there are racists everywhere. And that's just part of life. I need to trust that you guys aren't going to put them in our streets and pay them our tax dollars. My husband and I are Jewish. When we came to Berwyn 4 years ago, we were lured in by the BDC and your great campaign on Halstead Fair. You know, we thought it was the place where we could just be so happy, and I do love South Berwyn. I love the 1st Ward. Our neighbors are great, but this can't be my government. No.
My name is Lorelei. I live in the 3rd Ward, and I'm a member of student leadership at Heritage, a D100 school. On May 10th, I came to this council and spoke up against bullying. While at that time I was talking more specifically about bullying the members of the LGBTQ plus community. But do not think that I haven't heard racist remarks around my school, and do not think I haven't cared about what Sarah Lopez said. The other students and I have raised the issue of racist remarks happening during the last school year. Words that Ms. Lopez never would have used around me because she knows that they are wrong, but felt entitled and empowered enough using them against Mr. Robbins. But worse still, she felt comfortable enough to call the police, repeat what she said freely to the officer, and even taking it further. All while working for this city, Berwyn, the city that has refused to acknowledge its racist past and present. I'm happy to know that the officer has put her horrid comments into the report, But I am disappointed in you, Mr. Mayor, and any other council members that kept it a secret before it came out on the news, because I came to you to discuss problems with this type of language and treatment of people, and the very next day, this happened. I'm in student leadership. I'm supposed to look up to you, this city council, the Berwyn employees, but now, can I do that with how they act? No wonder the kids at my school feel comfortable to say these kinds of things when they have you, Ms. Lopez, and anyone else in this city that have treated people with such hatred as an example. Thank you for your time.
My name is Steve Taylor, and I am from the 3rd Ward. Berwyn is an embarrassment to society because racism is curried among individuals and elected officials. Why Berwyn? A hate crime was committed by a city employee during official duty, and there's appearance of a major cover-up. We need stronger statements from our city officials to avoid the appearance of condoning racist behavior. After this event was brought to light, residents immediately began calling for the termination of Sarah Lopez and for an investigation. Eventually, some of the alders caved into the pressure and formally requested that the investigation, but failed to denounce racism. Saying you do not support her behavior is not good enough. We need you to acknowledge racism exists in Berwyn and commit action to abolish racism in Berwyn. It is very concerning how DCOB actions appear to protect one of their own. Sarah Lopez is a known associate in many circles of the DCOB government, as indicated by pictures circulating social media. Therefore, it is inappropriate for the city to investigate themselves in this matter. We demand a third-party investigation to address the following. 1, how was the city notified of the incident? 2, what is the policy of the employee handbook for this conduct? 3, was the policy enforced with required documentation? 4, was there any missteps or failure? 5, what corrective or disciplinary action is required for non-policy enforcement? And 6, recommendations to handbook policy, including required education and training for the employee. We need council to respond directly to our concerns, take immediate action, and provide transparency through that investigation. Berwyn needs an unequivocal stance against racism.
Hi, I'm Nick Penyeronda, resident of the 1st Ward. I am really tired of having to come to City Council because every time I come, it's to complain about something y'all are not doing. And it sucks because I would like to be here and say, wow, we did a really good job on something. Like, I would love to say we did a really great job with like Berwyn Chops or something like that. But instead, the following week after, or after another event happens, it's like, dang, Berwyn again. This is one of those times. I will also say it does not fall deaf on me that the same Chicago-based organizers and all these people that you like to create as outsiders are the ones that are holding out to the fire right now, while the same people who are taking pictures with Sarah Lopez and congratulating her with her DCOB fam are here doing nothing and saying nothing. But what I'm really upset about is that we think that this is something to not address for 2 months. It's something that we're still actively not addressing. Like, I feel like the moment that you got back, you should have been right to work. Because, you know, typically people take vacation after working. And so far, I haven't seen that happening. I am so disappointed in how this is going about because y'all will take credit for the same work these organizers and residents that y'all love to create as outsiders, like the Black Lives Matter in Berwyn mural, y'all love to take credit for that stuff. But when we actually ask you to make Berwyn more equitable for Black and brown people, y'all are like, oh no, I gotta talk to someone else. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. But above all, like, this should not have to be a public statement. This should not be the reason why this room is packed. Things should be happening in Berwyn where it's always packed because people are excited to be part of this city. The same way that other residents said that I love living here, but I can't deal with this government. And I get it, right? Voting happens, people elect you, that's fine. I'm not here to debate who wins an election. But I am here to talk about how y'all are not showing up for the community. Y'all are not doing the things that we need you to do. Like the most basic thing, Oak Park Avenue. Better yet, let me step back. 2011, y'all literally made an ordinance about making the city more pedestrian friendly. We have how many construction projects going and how many sidewalks have been like enhanced? How many crosswalks have been created? How many bike lanes have y'all done? Nothing. Why do y'all keep lying to us? Like, it's ridiculous. And I think the same thing happens here, where it's like, y'all will sit here and say to our faces, no, Berwyn doesn't tolerate this, Berwyn doesn't tolerate that. Then why is this person still employed? Why? It's like, with all of that being said, what I really want to get at is the heart of this. What are you going to do to make sure that this does not happen again? What are you going to do when hiring your employees to ensure that there is a basic level of respect to not use a racial slur at people working for the city or residents at the city? Now, I already know that a lot of y'all's aldermen like to go out in public spaces and talk about Black and brown residents. Y'all love to talk about how this person is trash or this person is garbage. You say nothing when actual residents come to you and complain about the way they're being harassed. Because let's not get it twisted, y'all. The harassment against Black residents has been happening for a while, so much so that we had to create our own private group so we can just be ourselves. How ridiculous is that? Like, so this is not new to us, but it is damn well embarrassing that y'all still have not done anything about it. And I pray on everything I love that y'all actually do something about this to fire Sarah Lopez and actually work to create standards for how you're gonna have your city employees act and exist in our community, because this cannot continue to happen. And that's what I wanna see change. Not even just her getting fired, but how are we gonna actually prevent this from being a regular thing? I don't wanna have to show up here every time one of y'all city employees act out. I don't wanna do that. How can you make sure that we don't have to get up here and complain to you that someone called someone the N-word or someone said something that was like, any of the things? How are you gonna actually improve our quality of lives by holding your city employees accountable? That's my question, and I hope that we can get a public statement about that. Thank you.
Couple family members work here, so all of them say it. You gotta get rid of the family, the cousins, the uncles, the nephews you got working here. You need the people to live here. Reverend all.
My name is Gregory Wilson, 7th Ward. I would like to take a different approach here, just for a moment. Just bear with me. Climb on my side of the fence for a minute. Black male in America. We're adjective, adverb, color, and noun. Adjective, acting black. All right? Adverb, moving black. Color, that's obvious, right? And noun. If we take that, there's also in the so-called good book, because I'm not sure everyone views it as a good book, as a man thinketh and speaketh, so is he. How much more proof do we need to know how she thinks? Okay? Now, in the To Kill a Mockingbird, Atticus Finch, towards, and then it was remade by, I think it was A Time to Kill with Matthew McConaughey, right? And he went through this long soliloquy, and at the end he said to the jury, now think of all that and imagine the child is white, right? They came back with a guilty verdict. I'm gonna end by saying this. I'm not here to talk about her being fired and all that. That's your decision, and we will see what your decisions are. I spent some time in Germany many years ago. And in high school there, they're very insistent on teaching the Holocaust history. There was one part where they mentioned that as the churches back then were on the outskirts of town, along the rail tracks, right? As the trains drove by on Sunday and they were having church, the minister or the priest would have the church members sing louder so they couldn't hear the trains. Why? Because they knew who were in those trains and where they were headed. My question to you, are you going to be part of those congregations singing while the trains go by?
Hello, Council and Mayor. My name is Jose Ramirez, and I live in the 2nd Ward. I've been a resident for over 20 years. I came here with some fellow 2nd Ward residents, but hearing these speeches, I had a completely different issue. And so I am not going to bring that up now because that issue seems so minor compared to what people are talking about here today. I sat on the 2nd chair from the right. I've been on the other side of this barrier. I understand a little bit of how City Council works, but for the life of me, I will not understand why we have come to this. In June, Alderman Lennon and Mayor, you had a pride parade, and you gathered all city workers and the policemen, and they all marched for pride. You do not understand what pride means. It stands for tolerance. It stands for equity. We all have to be equal in this town. And I am so embarrassed that we have to go through this. I've worked very hard to make Berwyn what it is. I've taken part in committees. Like I said, I've been an alderman. I've knocked on doors. This is not what Berwyn is about. And for the 2nd Ward alderman to sit there and say nothing publicly other than thoughts and prayers for the man who was insulted is not enough. So I am asking you, please do the right thing. Fire Sarah Lopez. Bring our pride back to Berwyn. Thank you.
Good evening. I too have been here in this chamber over the same, seems like repetitive reason, justice. My name is Summer Butler. I am a 3rd Ward resident. I am a teacher of over 20 years. I'm actually working on my 2nd master's degree right now for educational leadership. I've ran countless committees within my job, in my industry. I also began dabbling in community organizing myself because I figured if no one was going to do it, maybe I should step up. So I've actually ran 2 now Juneteenth festivals in the city of Berwyn. I'm a mother as well. I have a child that's here with me today. I know he doesn't want me to bring any attention to him, but he has gone through District 100 since he was in kindergarten, and he is currently at Morton West now. He's gone through several schools in our city of Berwyn, and he has also dealt with racism as a black child. Unfortunately, he, because of what another person was just talking about, is seen, right, before he's even able to speak or show or demonstrate anything, he is seen as an aggressive threat. And so he's been called a nigger by students. And I've had to be at his school dealing with that. He actually took a punch as well as a verbal slur and had a black eye for a week, which you know in middle school is going to definitely bring other forms of bullying and trolling. And he dealt with that because he decided it was best for him to be silent and to just take it. So I do come to you today, all of you, every alderman in this room, as well as our mayor, as well as any other civic employee and person that works in education, especially in District 100 and District 201, because I know from experience what we have to deal with as black individuals. Since Sarah Lopez hasn't resigned or been fired yet for her use of the word nigger as an insult, it is clear that you don't recognize the gravity of this situation. She had no fear in her articulation of the word, so I will be very clear in my articulation of the word tonight. More importantly, you have no fear of being called a racist for standing up for her by not terminating her employment. She is a representation of you and the city of Berwyn, and still you don't care about the implications that has been laid in front of you. So let me be clear on what should have been done so far in this chamber again. So far, she should have been fired. So far, anti-racism workshops, Black history activities, and ongoing training should have been scheduled, conferred about, met about, registered, scheduled, all of that. For the civic employees, and you should also be having a conversation with your superintendent, Havis, as well, because I tried to have a meeting with Havis several months ago about this very same thing. Because it's not an isolated incident. You need to bring in equity. You need to bring in a consultant, an outside one, to work with every level of government and education engagement. I also hope that the police that she used her powers or misused her powers to threaten Mr. Robin with have also given her a reprimand as well. Her calls for police were misdirected and obviously a huge misuse of their service. But our police and fire departments can also discuss ways that they can be impactful in the change in mindset. There are many police and fire department employees that actually do think critically and that are more than willing to be instrumental in this. We need to have a more proactive stance, and we need to seek more Black candidates for open positions. Not one. We've been here long enough, we know. The word nigger, it promotes fear, but also it forces us to exercise restraint. Your active sightlessness to maintain a status quo isn't sustainable in your position or in your popularity. As a person who has also been called a nigger in my adult life, because they call women niggers too, so just in case you didn't know, there is nothing complicated about its context. It is the worst name to be called. I can say that Black people are strong, but we have no choice. The word derived from American culture was used to terrorize us and promote fear in us, but also restraint on the part of Black people. It was and it still is meant for us to stay in our place. Many of us, when we are called nigger, choose the meticulous task of ignoring it or not giving any weight to it, but not without consequence, not without pain, not without anxiety, not without mistrust, not without wounds. Many times it is hidden, but the word it is meant to annihilate a person. It goes deep. It creates anger, angst, once it's been applied. Nigger is a word of suffering. It is the highest form of disrespect, short of a gun or knife wound. It is not something to get over. It is not a minimal exercise to overcome. I want to send love to Philip Robin, to have experienced this form of terrorism, but I want to also send love to anyone else who has been called a nigger in this community. Sandra Lopez and all the racists in Berwyn, your anger is based on your fragility and your insecurity, not ours. Frederick Douglass had a common saying that it was worth a half cent to kill a nigger and half a cent to bury one. To a slaveholder, a nigger is a slave. So I hope if you didn't know that before tonight, you understand the depth of that word. The two are synonymous. Lopez assumed that her power was going to get backed up by the police that she threatened to call, and did. What does that say? The mayor was hiding this incident while ironically, while a Morton West group was actually planning for a Juneteenth festival in his office, which they pulled out of 2 weeks prior to the event to hold a separate one. What does that say? We are in a building that has a Black Lives Matter mural on its parking lot. Yet, yet we are here over this instance. I'm sorry. Got mixed up there. Oops, sorry. Maybe I should have put this on paper. Okay. All right. The word nigger was applied to slaves, so it brings that same energy of disgust and injustice in 2022. You are telling me that I am worthless, not human, not chattel, or chattel. You're perpetuating the notion that black folks should be subservient. You promote a destructive idea to all of us that we don't belong in this space. It is paralyzing, literally. It is violent. It is literally hate speech. When Lopez called Robin a nigger, she called me a nigger. She called my son a nigger. She called Joe Carmichael a nigger. And she called every black resident in Berwyn a nigger that day. She brought down a whole race of people with her words. She used her ignorance, she used her power, and she used her influence to try to destroy a man. And what's even more alarming is that there are other adults spitting this filth in our city. And there are kids across our town and in our schools spilling this filth in their schools and being validated by your lack of action. She told us who she was, and you told us who you were by trying to cover it up and then give her a warning. This administration needs to put a stop to this hate. Stop promoting this hate instead of promoting performative displays of equity. You cannot be on both sides. Work towards facts instead of truth, and we will all be better for it. Respectfully.
All right, council. I'm gonna keep this short. I'm not even gonna talk about Sarah, okay? I'm gonna talk about you, Robert. I'm gonna talk about you, Richard. I'm gonna talk about you, Alicia. What are you doing? Because all I see is you doing nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You too, Mr. Mayor. Now understand, I'm a resident of the 3rd Ward. That means I'm coming for your job, Richard. I'm coming for your job. And then I'm on my way. I'm on my way to that chair. And then everybody else here who keeps talking, get up and do something. Do something. Make something. Do something, because you're just complaining. Because all he's doing is sitting here looking stoic. You've been playing on your phone. She ain't even turned her back this way. How are you doing over there? Pay attention. Wake up. You too. I'm talking to you too. I don't want to hear it. I don't even want to hear it. I'm talking right now. I got the floor. I got the floor. You be quiet, because you haven't said anything until I said something.
Please, let's stop the argument.
My name is Robert Winston, and I will be your 3rd Ward alderman. If you keep playing, Mr. Mayor, I will have this town, me, myself. So everybody else, pay attention. If you want to do something, then do something. All you're doing is talking. See, I'm going to be running and gunning for you and you Robert, and you Richard, and you Robert. My name is Robert.
Thank you.
And I'm done.
Good evening. I'm here on a little bit different note, so I hope that's okay. I'm here tonight. My name is Sandy Fate, and I'm the Executive Director of the Berwyn Park District. And I'm here tonight to thank the mayor the council for looking forward where you're going to be approving the ordinance for the forestry management plan. So this is another great step for the management across the city. But second, I'd like to thank everybody. That's right. So I'd like to thank the mayor, both the police chief and the fire chief, as well as all the council members who were brave enough to take on my whim of filming for a book that we read to the students of actually all of Berwyn. So we read The Happiness Tree to hopefully introduce all of our students and get them interested in trees. So I want to thank Public Works Director Bob Schiller, Arborist Frank Cavello, and the city's communication department for taking on this collaboration that I paired up with that I thought was important, that this was our first Arbor Week celebration. So together with city personnel, the Berwyn Park District, the School District 100, Morton School District 201, North Berwyn School District 98, North Berwyn Park District, and the Berwyn Public Library, we were all able to put our resources together and spread our message of why trees throughout the city of Berwyn. So I hope that you appreciate that you actually were able to reach out to over 3,000 school children across all of Berwyn to be able to help us with this endeavor. And like I said, trees are important. We're a park district, we're a city, and we are a city of trees. And I personally am looking forward to a more collaborative effort with all of these entities, and thank you. So many of our residents don't know that some of you were willing to get into a bucket truck and read from the top of the treetops for me. Some were able to sit in a tree and read. Some read in the rain. And many of you were all in your respective, the parks in your respective wards to show our residents that you care and that this is going to be a great effort. That why trees? Because we are a city of trees. So thank you.
Hi, my name is Kayla Navarrete. I am a resident of Riverside, Illinois. She doesn't live here. Saw that coming. So since I feel like I have to prove myself, Berwyn raised me. My parents live here. I do my shopping in Berwyn. Berwyn molded me to be who I am. This is disgusting. Berwyn is the reason I decided to come back to pursue a doctorate in sociology. Berwyn is the reason I teach race and ethnicity. I want to know, given light of the recent incident, what are you doing to ensure that this does not happen again at any level of the city? Because I see many public workers here from different departments, different areas in the city. You can see how uncomfortable they are. They're bickering, they're smirking, they're making noises, they're talking under their breath. Feel this uncomfortableness in the room. Sit with it. Think about why you feel uncomfortable. I encourage you to reflect on why you feel the way that you're feeling. Because this is a deeper problem that continues to be perpetuated by a government that sees us as their lessers, and it's not okay. What are you doing to ensure that this won't happen again? What are you doing to ensure that Sarah Lopez won't do this again? Because as of now, she's still here. She still works for the city. How do I know this isn't going to happen again? We have family here, we have friends. How are we protecting our black neighbors? What are we doing to help them? I want answers to this. I always hear nothing but silence. I wasn't even going to speak up today, but all of the small talk in front of me is the reason I decided to come up here. Respectfully, what are you doing here if you're just talking under your breath? Are you trying to do anything to help? What are you doing here then? Because we're trying to make a difference. And we want to help our black neighbors however we can. I hope you are on the same side of the problem. Thank you for your time.
Hi, good evening. My name is Danielle Burns, and I am a 7th Ward resident. I am here today to ask you to fire Sarah Lopez from her city job for her recent racial attack toward Mr. Philip Robin. I also call for the independent investigation of Mayor Olivero for covering this hate crime during an election time. I want you to send a strong message to the community that racism has no place in Berwyn. Thank you.
8 years old. I'm from Berwyn, and I want you to fire Sarah Lopez because she is racist to black people, and I want black people to feel safe everywhere. Thank you.
Wow, from the mouths of babes. My name's Erica Johnson. I'm a 17-year resident here in Berwyn, pregnant, 8 months with a new Berwyn resident. Thank you. I was disappointed and disgusted to see the CBS news report. Very surprised. And when you're pregnant, the last thing you need is anything else affecting your sleep, and that's exactly what this did. I want to appeal to you in a different way than the things that you've heard, which I agree with everyone, with how passionate they feel, and it's terrible. We have a lot of different other minorities in the room and in this community. Italian, Jewish, Polish, Czechoslovakian. It's like, think back to the different things that your ancestors were called and how hurtful those things were. That's how it feels. You wouldn't want to hear it called to you, your mother, your brother, your sister, your father, or anybody. And what happened in our community, it's just terrible. And I'll leave it there. Okay, I know you're an attorney. Look at the legality of this. This has opened up this city to lawsuits. This has opened this city up to class action suits. It calls into question every single decision she's made in her inspector role, issuing of tickets, inspections, contractor approved lists, in her school role, what decisions they made about curriculum, staff, inclusion, for your legacy, for you. I know that you're a parent, and I think are you a grandparent too yet? Yes. This is going to be your legacy, how you decide to handle this. Yes, there is already this gap, it's come out, but you really, as you decide what needs to be done, are going to shape what is thought about the Lavero, you personally, and the rest of your family in perpetuity. So really, take this to heart as you make this decision. Some of the other things, housing value. Everybody here who owns, this is going to affect our housing value, whether you side with Lopez or you side with the people of color. It's going to affect the money about who would want to come here, the prices that we will be able to sell our homes for. We finally, brought a lot of businesses, a lot more businesses, so that all of our money's not going to North Riverside. Black people have a lot of spending power, so it's like you don't want it to rain down where black people pull back and stop spending money in the Roosevelt and the Cermak corridors. And there are a lot of other communities where there are a lot of black people, so really it's like if we put the word out and have them do a blackout in terms of spending money, you will feel that. Thank you. In addition to the firing of Sarah Lopez, you do and are going to have to do something to help heal the city, and that's going to require some kind of outside intervention, at the school level and then also community to bring everybody back together, or it's just going to continue. It's just going to be a lingering cloud over the city. Thank you for our time. Please look in yourself and think about this as you make the decision of what the right thing to do is. You guys already know, really. Thank you.
I'm Brendan O'Connor. I live in the 8th Ward. I'm proud to call Joey Carmichael my alderman, the first black elected official in the city of Berwyn, right there. We're talking a lot about one racist city employee, but let's talk about one more. How you doing, Chief? Hey, your son-in-law went on my political organization's page and he said, I quote, Sarah Lopez was honest and refreshing. Is he making you proud, Chief? Is Brent Burnell making you proud? Because he is a city employer, right? Well, but his wife works there, your daughter, right? The whole family. How many Somalis we got on the payroll? It's not? Okay, I'm sure. Doreen? Okay. Well, okay, Brent Burnell works for the city, right? Or he did?
Yes, he did.
So we have a city employee who thinks that she was honest and refreshing, correct? Okay, well, all right, let's get over that. Let's talk about the chief using police resources to continuously write letters on social media using all the resources of the police department to attack our only black alderman. How many times have you done that, chief? How many times? They say the fish rots from the head. There is a culture of racism within these walls. What are you going to do to change that? People are fed up. That's obvious. Also, do we not have an HR department? Why are you reprimanding city employees? Is that not against policy? You could just reprimand whoever you want, Mayor? Okay. So anyways, I hope you really take the words of everybody here to heart.
I take the words of just about everybody that I've heard spoken except you.
Okay, that's great. That's great. You're a class act, Bobby.
The man was expressed racism in his own business, so I don't need to hear from you.
What are you even talking about? Who are you kidding? So, what are you even talking about? Who? Please. Yeah, wait, the rules don't apply, right? Moving forward, this was a cover-up, and we need a third-party investigation. And I'm looking at the entire council to come together here to insist that we get an outside investigator to see why the mayor thinks he's the HR department of this town. Thanks for your time.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jacqueline Morgan. I am not a resident of Berwyn. However, I am here on support of my sister, who is a proud homeowner in your 6th district. As I listen to all the speakers coming up tonight, I gotta say, I'm overwhelmed. I had no intention on speaking, but I cannot sit back and not say a few things that are of concern to me. When my younger sister decided to purchase a home here in your village, I was kind of hesitant because I was basing it on the 1960s, the years when I was born, and I had distinct memories of my brothers and cousins being escorted out of this town by police and other neighbors as they were chased on their bikes. So I was concerned about her moving here. But she assured me, oh no, everything has changed. So she took me around. I looked at the neighborhood and the community, and the houses were looking nice, and it seems like everyone took care of their properties well. And she had met a few people, and it was a very cordial situation. And as a matter of fact, as a result of that, I personally spoke at one of your black festivals because myself, I am a 30-year business owner. So I was proud. I was like, wow, things have really changed. However, when she told me about this situation, I gotta say, I'm disgusted, I'm concerned, I'm scared for her welfare. Because if someone who works for the city can openly show their racism and nothing happens, what about all the other people who are hiding in the shadows? I need to know that I can go to sleep at night and know that my sister is going to be okay. So something has to be done. You can't ignore the problem anymore. If you don't feel comfortable with it, step down. There are other people who would love to assume some responsibility, who would like to make a more unified town. You're going to lose out if you allow this to continue. So that's all I had to say.
Luz Chavez, 16th and Ridgeland. So to Mayor and the Council, I want, and actually I want to address more everybody here. So I want to thank every resident who came out tonight to speak out against racism and demand justice for Mr. Robin, the victim of a hate crime by Berwyn City employee Sarah Lopez. To all my neighbors here tonight, I want to emphasize why your voice is so important. Lavero covering up a hate crime for 2 months is not an isolated incident. When it comes to addressing racism in Berwyn, Mayor Lavero has never stood on the right side of history. Community members like you have had to speak up and demand he do the right thing. In June of 2020, during the George Floyd civil unrest, Lavero initially denied vigilantism occurred in Berwyn, even though black residents feared for their lives to the extent that neighbors organized and to escort black residents to and from their homes. Community voices like yours speaking out tonight forced Lavero to apologize. In July 2020, Lavero initially released a statement against creating that BLM mural in Berwyn, calling it political art and propaganda. Community voices like yours here tonight forced him to reverse his stance, and we now have a beautiful BLM mural at City Hall. That's because of residents, not because of Lavero. In August of 2020, Lavero did not attend Berwyn's first BLM rally at City Hall. Instead of showing black residents his support, he allowed this guy, Police Chief Simaglia, to put snipers on the rooftop of this family-filled event. Community voices like yours forced Lavero to apologize. I encourage everyone here to continue speaking up because you've seen who these people are. They've shown you who they are. And when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. I say to continue speaking up as long as it takes Lavero to act because there's several things he has not done still to stand against racism. When black residents shared concerns in the listening sessions held after the vigilantism and mural controversies, Lavero stayed silent and refused to take action on any of those concerns. That was 2 years ago. When Chief Simaglia, this guy, did not act in good faith in responding to the Diversity Commission's recommendations to reduce bias policing, 2 members of the Diversity Commission resigned in protest, including its only black member. Lavero stayed silent and refused to hold Simaglia accountable. That was, again, 2 years ago as well. The guy's done nothing. When Chief Simaglia posted an unprofessional political and personal attack against Berwyn's first black alderman, Alderman Carmichael, on the Berwyn Police Department Facebook page, Lavero again stayed silent and refused to make Simaglia remove that post. That post has been up for 9 months. It's still up there. When black residents urged council to pass a racial reconciliation proclamation to apologize for Berwyn's racist past and recommit to making Berwyn an equitable, inclusive town, Lavero stayed silent and refused to support it. I remember live streaming that day, and Mrs. Campbell, who was part of the family, the black family that was firebombed here in 1993, 30 years ago, she was actually on the live stream. And I asked you in that moment, will you support the Racial Reconciliation Proclamation? And you just said, maybe. And then you never brought it up. That was 5 months ago. This is a pattern of racism that you uphold. Berwyn has a long history of racism that is still very much alive because of you. And we see it in the highest official in our town who has failed our black neighbors time and time and time again. So to my neighbors, thank you so much for being out here tonight. To my black neighbors, thank you so much for speaking out truth to power and speaking your truth here. I can't imagine how difficult it is, so I super appreciate your willingness to come out and speak up. And I encourage other folks here too to also come and speak up. City council meetings are every second and fourth Tuesday. There's usually only 5 people here. Look how many people are here tonight. You can follow Rizoma Collective for updates. Please keep on coming out. Don't let Lavero hide in cowardly silence. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Dave Peterson. I live in the 8th Ward. I heard talk about the union. I don't want, if there's any of the union members in the union here, don't let them blame my union family. as a proud great-grandson of the Union, the grandson of the Union, don't blame the Union. That's right. And if somebody's in the Union and they know about this nefarious stuff, please step forward. I want to thank Alderman Joe Carmichael, my alderman, for drawing attention to this. Thank you. Joe's a nice guy. He's also consequences. The man who used to be the alderman in the 8th Ward during a Bears game, I believe, made a post on social media that if he was married, he would have hit his wife because of a play in the game.
What?
So Joe got up and ran and whooped him for alderman. That's consequences. And we need to have consequences for this stuff. Real consequences. Thank you.
We're going to go on to item C1, please. You can leave that with the clerk. Yes, you can.
I haven't spoken yet, Mayor.
Item C1, please.
I haven't spoken yet, Mayor.
Sir, you weren't in line to speak either. You weren't in line to speak either, sir. Item C1, please.
Item C1 are the minutes of the Committee of the Whole and the regular City Council meeting of July 12, 2022.
I'll make a motion to approve the Committee of the Whole and regular City Council meeting minutes for July 12th.
Second.
Motion by Lennon, seconded by Fate to approve the City Council minutes and the Committee of the Whole minutes of July 12, 2022. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item D1, please.
Item D1 is a communication from Public Works Director Schiller regarding bid opening for program year 2021 CDBG City of Berwyn Shared Sidewalk Program.
I'd like to make a motion, but there also needs to be an edit in the amount. When I look at the communication from Director Schiller and the actual letter from Novotny, there's a difference in the amount, so I'll just go with the corrected amount in my motion.
From Novotny's, yes.
Yes. So I motion that we concur with Director Schiller's recommendation to approve the PW 2021 CDBG and the 2022 Cost Shared Sidewalk Program to M&J Asphalt for the amount of $346,662.50 plus a 10% contingency.
Second.
Motion by Ruiz, seconded by Irinella, to approve the recommendation of Director Schiller for the Public Works 2021 CDBG and 2022 Cost Shared Sidewalk Program, awarding the bid to M&J Asphalt for $346,662.
Lennon.
Aye.
Roywood.
Aye.
Leisha.
Aye.
Fate.
Aye.
Pabon.
Aye.
Ruiz.
Aye.
Aaronella.
Aye.
Carmichael.
Aye.
8 ayes, Mayor.
Motion carried. Item D2, please.
D2 is a communication from Director Schiller regarding award of 2022 roadway resurfacing program.
It's my motion that we concur with Director Schiller's recommendation to approve the 2022 asphalt resurfacing program to Lindo Brothers, Inc. in the amount of $2,445,041 plus a 7% contingency funded through the DCEO and RBI.
Second.
Motion by Ruiz, seconded by Lennon, to concur with Director Schiller and approve the 2022 asphalt resurfacing program to Lindo Brothers, Inc. in the amount of $2,445,041 plus the 7% contingency funded through DCEO and RBI. All those in favor on the call of the roll.
Lennon.
Aye.
Roywood.
Aye.
Leisha.
Aye.
Fate.
Aye.
Pabon.
Aye.
Ruiz.
Aye.
Aaronella. Carmichael.
Aye.
8 ayes, Mayor.
Motion carried. Item J1, please.
Item J1 is an ordinance entitled, an ordinance, Chapter 1028, Section 18 of the Codified Ordinances regarding the preservation, protection, and enhancement of the urban forest located on public property for the City of Berwyn, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
It's my motion that we adopt this resolution, fix the necessary signatures, and send it on its way to passage.
Second.
Motion by Ruiz, second by Lennon, to adopt the ordinance affix the necessary signatures, and place it on its way to passage. All those in favor, on the call of the roll.
Lennon.
Aye.
Roywood.
Aye.
Leisure.
Aye.
Pate.
Aye.
Pabon.
Aye.
Ruiz.
Aye.
Aaronella. Carmichael.
Aye.
8 ayes, Mayor.
Motion carried. Item J2, please.
J2 is a communication from the city attorney regarding settlement of 18L 8214.
Be my motion to concur with City Attorney Bartuca, settle a case 18L8214 that was granted in executive session in the amount of $40,000.
Second.
Motion by Fate, second by Lennon, to concur with City Attorney Bertuca and settle 18L8214 for the amount of $40,000 based on City Council authority granted in executive session. All those in favor, on the call of the roll.
Lennon.
Aye.
Roywood.
Aye.
Leisure.
Aye.
Pate.
Aye.
Pabon.
Aye.
Ruiz.
Aye.
Aaronella. Carmichael.
Aye.
8 ayes, Mayor.
Motion carried. Item J3, please.
J3 is a communication from the city attorney regarding 2021 M1 12521.
Be my motion to concur with City Attorney Anthony Bartuca to settle case 2021 M1 12521 that was granted in executive session in the amount of $1,500.
Second.
Motion by Fate, second by Lennon, to concur with City Attorney Bertuca and settle the captioned case in the amount of $1,500 as based on authority granted in executive session. All those in favor, on the call of the roll.
Lennon.
Aye.
Roywood.
Aye.
Leisure.
Aye.
Fate.
Aye.
Pabon.
Aye.
Luis.
Aye.
Aaronella. Carmichael.
Aye.
8 ayes, Mayor.
Motion carried. Item J4, please.
J4 is a request from Morton High School for their homecoming parade permit.
I move that we concur with Police Chief Samaglia's granting permission for the Morton High School Homecoming Parade on Saturday, September 10, 2022.
Motion by Leisure, seconded by Aaronella, to concur with Chief Semaglia and grant permission for the Morton High School Homecoming Parade on Saturday, September 10th, 2022. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item J5, please.
Item J5 is a communication from Chief Semaglia requesting permission of approval of an intergovernmental agreement authorizing a second school resource officer at Morton High School.
Chief, I have questions about this.
Yes.
So how is this funded?
School is paying for the first 3 years 100%. There's the intergovernmental agreement we have in the packet. It has the amount they're giving for the first 3 years, and it's 80%.
It's in paragraph 2 of the IGA.
Okay. So the first 3 years will be funded by the school, and then the city, the
And then
police department takes up.
80% the next 2 years, and then 50% after that.
But so do you have to hire a new employee for this, or
Yes.
you're using your staff?
No, we have to hire an employee for that.
This was requested by Morton West High School.
I understand. Thank you.
I move that we approve District 201 Superintendent Truesdale, Morton West High School Principal Kavanaugh, and Berwyn Police Chief Samaglia's request for approval of the submitted intergovernmental agreement between Morton High School and the Berwyn Police Department, allowing for a second school resource officer at Morton West for the safety of our students, our faculty, and the development of a positive relationship for partnerships with the faculty and for the growing student body.
Second.
Motion by Leja, seconded by Lennon, to approve the IGA with Morton West High School for the second school resource officer. All those in favor, on the call of the roll.
Lennon.
Aye.
Roywood.
Aye.
Leisure.
Aye.
Fate.
Aye.
Pabon.
Nay.
Ruiz.
Nay.
Aaronella.
Yes.
Carmichael.
No.
5 ayes, Mayor, 3 nays.
Motion carried. Item J6, please.
J6 is a communication from Chief Semaglia requesting to hire 2 probationary police officers.
I move that we approve Police Chief Samaglia's request to contact the Police and Fire Commission to hire the next 2 probationary police officers from the current lateral eligibility pool of candidates to replace the vacancies resulting from the disability of Officer Meredith and for the addition of a second school resource officer at Morton West High School.
Second.
Motion by Leja, seconded by Lennon, to concur with Chief Semaglia and allow the hiring, go to the Police and Fire Commission for the next 2 probationary police officers from the lateral eligibility pool. All those in favor?
Mayor, I apologize. Can I modify that motion?
No.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Nay.
Do a roll call, please.
Lennon?
Aye.
Roywood?
Aye.
Leisure?
Aye.
Fate?
Aye.
Pabon?
Nay.
Ruiz?
Nay.
Aaronella? Carmichael?
No.
5 ayes, Mayor, 3 nays.
Motion carried. Item J7, please.
Item J7 is a communication from Fire Chief Hayes, request to purchase a new vehicle.
Hi, Mayor, City Council. I just wanted to make it clear that this has been competitively bid and publicly awarded. We'll be buying the vehicle through the Suburban Purchasing Co-op through Curry Motors Contract 204.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
I move that we concur with the request by Fire Chief Thomas Hayes to purchase a new Ford Interceptor, which will serve the training division and replace a 2014 Ford Escort declared surplus due to the inability to repair it, and to approve the waiving of the sealed bid process and enter into a purchase agreement with Suburban Purchasing Cooperative through Curry Motors. The contract was competitively bid and publicly awarded to Curry Motors. The vehicle replacement is included in the 2022 budget.
Second.
Motion by Leja, seconded by Lennon. Concur with Chief Hayes, waive the sealed bid process and approve the purchase of the 2022 Ford Interceptor for $44,957 through the competitive bidding. All those in favor, on the call of the roll.
Lennon?
Aye.
Roywood?
Aye.
Leisure?
Aye.
Fate?
Aye.
Pabon?
Aye.
Ruiz?
Aye.
Aaronella? Carmichael?
Aye.
8 ayes, Mayor.
Motion carried. Item J8, please.
J8 is a communication from Chief Hayes requesting permission to contact the Fire and Police Commission for 3 probationary firefighters.
I move that we concur with Fire Chief Thomas Hayes' request to contact the Police and Fire Commission to hire the next 3 qualified candidates on the firefighter paramedic eligibility list due to the retirement of Jay Diebold and the resignation of Colin Kielbasa and Christopher Overland, as these positions are included in the 2022 budget.
Second.
Motion by Leja, seconded by Lennon, to concur with Chief Hayes and authorize him to contact the Police and Fire Commission to hire the next 3 qualified candidates from the firefighter paramedic eligibility list. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item J9,
Thank you.
please. Item J9, please.
J9 is a communication from City Administrator Ciaba Green regarding the Svengoolie event.
Be my motion to consider this informational and allow Svengoolie to use Serenity Park and congratulate him on his 40th anniversary.
Second.
Motion by Fate, seconded by Lennon. Consider the communication informational and congratulate Svengoolie on his 40th anniversary at Serenity Park. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item J10, please.
J10 is a communication from Library Director Sheedy informing of an event and requesting street closures and city services.
I will make a motion to approve this event and send it along to Police, Fire, Public Works, and Engineering for assistance.
Second.
Motion by Lennon, seconded by Pabon to approve the event and send it out to the Police, Fire, and Public Works for assistance. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. The consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion by Lennon, seconded by Carmichael. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Aldermanic committee meetings. Alderman Lennon.
Call it a chair.
Alderman Roywood.
Call the chair.
Alderman Leja.
Call of the chair.
Alderman Fate.
Call the chair.
Alderman Pabon.
Call the chair.
Alderman Ruiz.
Call the chair.
Alderman Aaronella.
I'd like to call, my mic's not working.
The batteries are, yeah.
Thank you. I'd like to call an administrative meeting for this Friday, 9 a.m. In lieu of what's going on. So, administrative meeting on Friday.
Okay, Alderman Carmichael?
Call the chair, motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion adjourned by Carmichael, seconded by Lennon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.